Hello, welcome to another segment of the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights show. My name is Francisca, your host. Today we'll be meeting two of the commissioners who have been on our board for 6 years, and we'll be talking a little bit more about what made them become a part of the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights, what kind of training they received while they were on our board, and what their experience has been throughout the 6 years they've been a part of this. So welcome, Michael and Amanda. I'm so glad that you were able to join us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. So in being here, that this is kind of your last month with our board, which is kind of sad at the same time, but I would like for each one of you to talk a little bit about your background, about yourself, and what made you become part of the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights. Amanda, you'd like to start, please?
Sure. I was born and raised in Bogota, Colombia, and I came to Nebraska to study my PhD. And when I finished the PhD, I stayed working at Southeast Community College, where I have been for 23 years already.
Wow.
Throughout my years at Southeast Community College, we have talked a lot about diversity and inclusion. And coming to the board has been one of the best experiences in my life. I found actually the announcement in the newspaper.
Oh, okay.
And that's how I became a part of this.
Okay, so the diversity at Southeast Community College is what really made you think of it. I didn't realize they did it on the newspaper.
Yes.
Oh, awesome. And Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, and what made you decide to become part of LCHR?
Yeah, where do I start?
At the beginning.
Originally from Georgia, I say by way of Texas. My dad was Air Force, so I traveled. Went to high school there, moved to Nebraska many moons ago to attend college. I moved back in 2002. Started seeing a lot of things taking place in the community, and just wanted to be a part of that. And I have to give a lot of praise to TJ McDowell, because I walked into his office when he was executive director at the Malone Center and said, "Hey, TJ, look, this is what's going on. I want to be a part of it. What do you suggest?" And he gave me a number, got me in contact with Dean Finnegan at Project All.
Oh, okay.
And within a couple days, I was part of Project All class number 2. And that kind of enlightened me on a lot of things that were going on in the community. And I have to say, if it wasn't for those two individuals getting me a part of that Project All class, I wouldn't be where I am today as far as being a part of boards. And of course, with LCHR being able to chair it a couple years as well. And it's kind of given me some insight on both sides, from an employee perspective as well as from a business perspective as well.
Right, right. Well, how exciting, because I think I didn't realize that both of you were Project All, because Amanda, you attended Project
Yes.
All also, right? So both of you are Project All alumnus. Okay, well that makes 3 of us. So that's kind of cool, because I think that's one of the best things about Project All, is that exposing people to realize that the community does need people to be on board, and so this was an awesome way for both of you to kind of get exposed to that, especially the diversity at Southeast Community College. During the time that you both have been here at the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights, talk to me a little bit more about the process, and did you have any prior training before coming to our commission?
Oh no, no training. No training. Of course, through working at SEC and all the training we get to do internally, I was aware of a lot of issues that happen, but I had never touched on employment and housing. So that was completely new to me, and learning about the ordinances and learning about the different and all the little details that happen within the law, within the city limits.
Right.
That was absolutely eye-opening. It allows me to look at people who have issues with a very different perspective now. Even if the case doesn't go their way, I know that it's real for them.
Right.
And that's important.
Awesome. And what's your take on that, Michael, as far as what made you decide to become a part of, well, not so much part of Lincoln Commission on Human Rights, but did you have any prior training to coming and to be a part of this board?
I would have to echo Amanda.
Yeah.
None at all. Served in supervisory, team lead, management roles from a business perspective, and also from an employee perspective as well. just learning all of the different laws, you know, some of those finest details that you wouldn't know, and just really, really being an advocate to try to understand and bring some type of civility and some, you know, some equalness, if you will, to the situation as well.
Very well, and it's true. So you don't need a lot of experience when you start on our board. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's absolutely correct, because it's on-the-job training. You know, it's just being comfortable and asking those questions.
Absolutely.
There's going to be a lot of things that you don't know, but you know, the LCHR team and staff, they're wonderful, as you are yourself, and willing to, you know, take the extra time, the retreats that we just had, and sending those questions so they can prepare prior to, but just really having that meaningful dialogue about the processes that you don't understand. I think it's very helpful.
It also allows you to do your own research on things sometimes, like you don't know the law, so it's like, well, let me learn a little bit more about this. So I think that has also been really interesting, a very, very good process in understanding how laws work and what you can do for the community.
So then, what did the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights office do to make sure that you were prepared for your first commission meeting?
We had some training. We had a very comprehensive training on housing and employment as it applies to Lincoln specifically, Lincoln laws, and some cases we had discussions. We had like a trial run with some of the cases, so that was very, very good.
Very good.
And I think providing the information prior to, so we can review it, and if there are any questions, and we can reach out to the investigators. I love the civil rights conferences that take place every year too, to be able to kind of hear from everyone else, some of the folks that are handling these situations in other areas as well, and just kind of coming together as a group.
Awesome. So you both have attended the Civil Rights Conference?
Absolutely.
Every year.
Awesome. And will next year as well. And you will.
Yes.
Awesome. What was your take on that Civil Rights Conference, and what was both of your roles in the Civil Rights Conference?
I volunteered the first year doing a few things here and there, but I have introduced some of the presenters since, and it's an incredible experience being part of it.
And I have to agree, you know, being a chair, you get to introduce the keynote speaker, and you know, and then some of the breakout sessions, and then being able to attend some of those sessions as well and learn a little bit more, which I think helps us as a commissioner to understand, you know, a wide variety of things that take place.
Oh, and the awards.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That is really incredible.
So from being on the board for 6 years, what would you tell our audience what is it that you would take away from being on this board? What, other than the learning experience that you've received, what is it that you're taking from this that you'll apply to other communities or other boards that you'll be on? At
Southeast Community College, we get a lot of students from all sorts of venues, diverse ages, abilities. Sometimes they bring problems to faculty, and these are personal problems that maybe have to do with civil rights, and they come my way, so I at least I have a way of telling them, well, you can do this, there's a process that you can follow, and they will listen to your issues. They will investigate.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your take on that, Michael?
You know, I mean, the education piece is phenomenal. Just with everything that I've learned, and I do have friends that own small businesses that are in management and executive positions, and you know, just talking with them and hearing some of the diverse things that take place, because it's ever changing. Just having those conversations with them and letting them know, you know, some of the do's and don'ts, and letting them know that, you know, Lincoln Commission on Human Rights, you know, it's there for them if they have any questions, if they need some additional training for them and their staff, that, you know, LCHR is willing to do that and step in and assist them to make sure that they do understand and not sit there and wonder.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that I tell our community members when I go out into the community to talk to them about what our office does, is I usually tell people, like, we work for the community. That's what we do. And I can't stress that enough to people, because essentially, you know, we're here for them. We're here to educate everyone, but at the same time also make people feel like this is the resource for them. So I imagine that you both agree on that. What are you both? What was the best thing about being a part of this commission for you? I know you probably can't pick one, but try.
I'll start. I think one, having our commissioners meeting in the city council chambers.
That's pretty awesome.
It's really awesome. When I found out that that's where we were, I'm like, nah, come on, really? Because generally most of them are in a boardroom or somewhere, but
Yeah.
being able to sit on a city council chamber area, like, whoa, okay. And again, I think the conferences
Yeah.
and the retreats that we have as a commission, that gives us that, that time to learn a little bit more and have some good dialogue.
So would you say those retreats were also essential for you to continue to grow in this position that you've had with us?
Absolutely. With a lot of the cases that are cited, and I mean, just some of those cases that we've had in the past that really were a head scratcher. Being able to kind of talk about that and just get some better understanding of, how that took place, why that might have taken place, all that additional information I think is key.
Right. That's awesome. Did you want to kind of give us your take on what was the one thing you really liked?
The diversity of the commissioners themselves.
Yeah.
They come from different areas, different perspectives,
Absolutely.
different experiences, and the way they approach the same information that I got, and then we get to listen to people, talk to people about those, and to see how they're processing information. Completely different from the way you do, but in the end we all come to an agreement and make our own decision based on the facts that we are discussing.
I'd have to agree with Amanda because we have our own way of thinking, and if we're reading a case or whatever it may be, I've already got my mind set, but then maybe hearing Amanda's perspective and point of view, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, I didn't think of it like that.
Yes.
Right.
So I think that's very, very helpful as well from the
Diversity part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. I think in the last 4 years that I've been here, I feel like we've become kind of a family because I've known both of you for those last 4 years, and to think that now you're going to be going off to do something else is kind of awesome. But at the same time, it sounds like being a team player for the commission, for the board, is very essential. And would I be right on that or a little
Absolutely.
off?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah. Awesome. Tell me a little bit more as far as what would you do to encourage people to be a part of our board? Because, within the city, there are so many boards and commissions that people can apply for, be a part of. But what would you tell somebody to kind of make us stand out there and so we can get that cream of the crop?
I would say, with all the changes that are taking place, let's be a part of that change. Let's be a voice. There's an individual that I've talked to that I will be recommending, and I think that individual just has a wealth of knowledge that could be very beneficial to the commission as well. I'm a big advocate for the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights. You learn a lot, and I think it helps with your growth and really understanding the diversity piece.
Yeah, it really does.
I would also say that it's good to give back to the city.
Yeah.
We receive a lot from the city in terms of services, in terms of access, in terms of education, and being part of it, giving back, bring your knowledge, bring your experience into the fold, and make a contribution.
Absolutely.
For the greater good.
Absolutely. I think the ones that walk away with something greater is us as staff, because now we have other people we can reach out to the community. Even though you both won't be here anymore, I know that if I have a question or any of us have a question, we'll be able to call upon each one of you and say, hey, do you know this or that? So that is awesome. I do appreciate you both so much for being here today, and good luck in your new endeavors. Do come back and visit us.
Absolutely.
We'd so appreciate that.
You're not going to get rid of us, Dad.
No, I do expect to see you at our Civil Rights Conference, which, for our audience to know, it is April 15th, 2020. It'll be at the Innovation Campus this year, so we're excited about that, and we're excited that both of you will be able to be a part of that. And definitely, making sure that you continue to promote our office, as I know you already do. But more than anything is to encourage people to apply, because I think sometimes the misconception for some of our people is to think that they need to come in already knowing all of this.
And, you know, I think that's a good point, Francesca. It's that, you know, you think you have to have a law degree. It's time consuming. And again, it's, you know, maybe an hour or two the last Thursday of the month. I mean, so it's feasible, it's schedulable, if you will. But yeah, you're just bringing your experience and your knowledge, and you're bringing an objective view to the cause.
Right,
absolutely. You get a nice plaque.
You get a nice plaque, there you go. That's true, you get a nice plaque. So yeah, and to me that's important. For us, as an agency, I think it's important for people to know that you don't have to come in with a lot of knowledge, but you have to be willing to learn. Absolutely. I think, because it is a learning curve. Am I correct on that?
That's correct.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you become the chair for the first time. It's like, okay, the previous person made it sound easy.
You did awesome, though.
Yeah. Yes, you did.
You have done awesome, yeah. So, yeah, no, you've done awesome. I think, you know, because both of you have been chairs of the board, right?
Chair and co-chair.
Right. We were, I think, 2 years for me, and were you co-chair 2 years?
I was vice chair.
And I think Benny Shobe was prior to me, and I can't think of the other gentleman's name. It escapes me. But again, man, listening to them do it, it was just flawless. And so when it's your first time to do it, and you're trying to make sure that you have everything, and after a couple times of getting thrown in the fire, it just comes natural.
Yeah. Well, and I think Margie and Michelle, which are two investigators, they usually do like you said, a little mock trial run through the whole thing, so you don't feel like you're stumbling through it.
Oh, that's very helpful.
Yeah. And we do provide information as you're going along, so you don't feel like you have to know all of this. Right?
Yes.
Good. Well, I thank you both very much for being here today. You will be missed by our board, but I know at the same time that means meeting new people. Now we have two people out there as a resource for us, so I appreciate that very much. So with this, we end our second segment of the Lincoln Commission on Human Rights. And remember that we all have rights.